What's up, guys? Coach Nate with another episode of Steel Strength Radio, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 Steel Nutrition Principles for fat loss. And in reality, these are just the Steel Nutrition Principles. About 95% of the people that we work with come in wanting to lose some kind of weight, be it 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or 100 pounds. It doesn't matter, but about 95% of our clients have weight loss listed as one of their goals, all right? And we want to help 100% of those clients succeed. But weight loss aside, because here's the deal, whether you want to lose weight or not, after you've lost the weight, you're going to have to learn how to maintain, how to continue to get more healthy and more fit. And so you need to understand these nutrition principles. All right, so we're going to dive into this. But first, I just want to say, I made a post, I believe it was Sunday, and I said, I'm committed to making 2023 the year that I train consistently. I strength train consistently. I'm going to make it the year that I move lots, have lots of activity. And then I'm going to make it the year of healthy eating. And so the reality is, creating that lifestyle change, the hard part is up here. It's what's going on between your ears. What's going on in that daggum brain of yours. That is the difficult part about this transformation. But the work itself, the training, the exercise, the activity, the nutrition, the work itself is not that difficult, especially once you figure out what works, you do something you like, you enjoy strength training. I've never met somebody that doesn't like strength training. I'm not just saying that, but you enjoy strength training. You find activities or exercise, non-strength training exercise that you enjoy to keep you active, keep that heart pumping, and then you find nutrition, a nutrition plan or a way of eating, a diet, if you will, that you enjoy. And so today I'm going to be talking about that third one, is creating a diet that is both extremely effective and extremely enjoyable. So let's dive in. These are the 5 nutrition principles. And first, I want to talk about the difference between principles, which is what we're talking about here, and tactics. You see, most people jump straight to tactics when they want to lose weight, start a diet, whatever. They do paleo, they do keto, they go vegan, vegetarian, they're going to count calories, they're going to keep their carbs under a certain amount, whatever. Those are all tactics, and all those tactics have a time and place. But the principles are much more important to understand, because the principles are like the guardrail. They're like the lane on the highway. Maybe we've got 4 lanes going in this direction, and as long as you stay within the guardrail, you pick whichever lane you're going to find the most enjoyable. And you see, the problem is jumping straight to tactics without understanding the principles is that a lot of times people end up placing rules and restrictions on themselves that aren't necessary. Okay? Of course, you're going to have to decide where you want to restrict. Nobody has figured out how to eat 1,000 Krispy Kreme donuts and fried chicken all day long and achieve all your health and fitness goals. That's not going to work. We do have to exercise some self-control, some self-discipline, and some restraint/restriction. However, when you understand the principles, you can choose how you want to restrict and restrain yourself so that you can have maximum enjoyability while also maximizing results. That's the beauty of principles. Whereas with tactics, again, just to reiterate, people choose a tactic and feel like, well, I lost weight with keto, but I don't really know why. And so I feel like keto is the only way. All right, so I'm here to set you free from diet guidelines and rules so that you can figure out what works, why it works, and then make the best decision around what's best for you. Okay, these are the 5 nutrition principles. Follow them, and I guarantee you, as long as you're within the principles, you can do whatever the heck you want to do with your diet, and you're going to see amazing results and have a great time doing it. So let's dive in. What are the 5 principles? Number 1, eat mostly real food. Number 2, eat the right amount of food for your goals. Number 3, eat the right amount of protein for your goals. Number 4, avoid foods that make you feel like garbage. And number 5, make sure you enjoy your diet. So let's dive into each one of those. First, eat mostly real foods. Now, here's the thing. What do I mean by real foods? I mean the food that God made. I mean animals. I mean plants. All right. So basically, you're looking at single ingredient foods, the foods that are on the perimeter of the grocery store that have one ingredient. You don't have a hard time pronouncing it because it just says ground beef, or it says chicken, or it says salmon, or it says nuts, or seeds, or rice, or potatoes, or fruit, or vegetables. It's very simple. Okay. Those are the foods you want to eat. So you're looking at meat, fish, animal products, dairy. That's another story for another day. But dairy, you're looking at fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, things like that, okay? Single ingredient foods. Now, the reality is we should probably be consuming 100% of our calories from these sources of food, but 80% is a great place to start. I'm a big fan of the 80-20 rule. So if you got to throw in some Oreos and all that good stuff, that food engineer, heavily processed, man-made food, okay, fine. But make that 20% or less of your diet, all right? And the reason we want to do this, number one, single ingredient, God-made foods are just better for you. You're going to have a hard time being healthy and fit and lean eating a bunch of man-made crap, all right? Whereas if you're eating single ingredient foods, they're full of nutrients. It's better for your health. It's going to make you feel better. You're going to have more energy and all of that. Health is important. If you want to lose fat, you got to get healthy first. If you want to lose fat, you want to feel good and have energy. And that's true for any of your goals, whether it's fat loss or anything else. You got to be healthy and you got to feel good. You got to have energy. And so eating mostly real foods is going to take care of that. Now, when it comes to fat loss, eating real foods is not enough. You see, a lot of people are like, Nate, I don't understand. I'm eating so healthy. Why am I not losing weight? Great. That brings me to my second point, the second nutrition principle, which is you have to eat the right amount of food for your goals. You see, the phrase, I eat healthy, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight because I eat healthy, basically means nothing to me because everybody has a different definition of what eating healthy looks like. So here's the deal. If you want to lose fat, the number of calories you consume is going to determine how much weight you lose. Now, we want to make sure that we're getting our calories primarily from real foods, not because that's going to make us lose weight faster, but because it's going to be better for us. But in terms of the actual weight that you lose, it's all going to come down to calories. So in theory, don't try this. It's a terrible idea. But you could, 1,000 calories of Twinkies a day, and that's all you ate, you would be losing a ton of weight. You'd be losing a lot of health too, because you'd be getting zero nutrition, and you'd probably feel like garbage. But if you did all the same things, which you'd have a hard time doing, running off of Twinkies as your fuel, but if you did all the same things as you did eating 1,000 calories of a healthy diet, you would lose the same amount of weight. Another note on that, I do not recommend pretty much anybody eating just 1,000 calories a day, but that was just for an example. All right, so eat the right amount of calories for your goal. So basically, at the end of the day, calories are just a measure of energy, all right? And so is fat. So fat in our body is just energy stored in a form that our body can use for, it stores fat. It increases fat storage for later use, okay? Fat is there to protect our body. That's why we have a lot of fat around the stomach to protect all those vital organs, all right? But also, it is there for later use, okay? And so when we create a calorie deficit, meaning we eat fewer calories than we burn in a day, like that's how we lose fat. It's the only way we lose fat, pretty much, because you're under eating. All right, you're lacking energy. Your energy output's here, but you're consuming this much energy, and so your body has to get that energy from somewhere, so it pulls it from fat. Beautiful, and that is how we lose weight. All right, now, in terms of how many calories a day you should eat, I'm not saying you have to track. You do not have to track calories to lose weight, though it can be a helpful tool if you've never done it before. But a good starting place for fat loss is about 12 times body weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, this is going to be 1,800 calories a day. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's going to be 2,400 calories a day. You can do the math, just multiply 12 times your weight in pounds. And then, of course, track that for a while. You want to be losing about 0.25, so 0.25% to 1% of weight per week. So like if you weigh 200 pounds, you want to be losing anywhere from about half a pound to 2 pounds a week. So see what you do over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, eating at that number of calories. And then if you're not losing at that rate, if you say you're under 0.25% of weight loss, then drop your calories down by about 250 per day. And then if you are losing weight in that range, great, stick with it. You're doing a great job. All right. The next point is eat the right amount of protein for your goal. So eating real food is going to make sure you're healthy and feel good. Eating the right amount of calories is going to make sure that we're losing weight. But eating the right amount of protein is going to make sure that the vast majority of the fat that you lose, of the weight that you lose is coming from fat, not muscle mass. Because if you're not strength training and you're not eating enough protein, if you're losing weight, you can still lose weight that way. But we've all seen this. People will end up smaller, but they often end up just kind of like a skinnier looking version version of the way they already look. Whereas in terms of physique, we are often going for a lean, tone defined look. That's the look that we often want, which means building muscle, toning and tightening, building muscle, building strength while losing fat, okay? So consuming protein, I think, is often oversold when it comes to building muscle, because when we're building muscle, we're going through a muscle building phase, or a bulk, if you will. We're actually over consuming calories, so the protein is not needed as much. It's still very important, but it's kind of oversold. Oftentimes protein supplements are pitched, especially to young skinny guys looking to build muscle, and it says, you need to be eating tons and tons of protein, when in reality, you need a moderate amount of protein, you need some more calories, and you need some good old strength training. But I think protein is underrated for fat loss, because the protein ensures that you're recovering well from your workouts. It also ensures that eating more protein keeps you full, makes it easier to eat fewer calories. There's so many benefits to consuming protein. So you do want to make sure you're eating enough protein for your goals. A good starting place for women is going to be 60 grams of protein per day and 80 grams per day for men. But there are benefits to going as high as 100 to 120 grams, sometimes in rare instances, more than that for women. And for guys, there are benefits to going to, 100, 120, 140, 150 grams plus per day. But basically, you want to get as much as you can tolerate, all right? But you don't want to be like shoving, knocking down chicken breast and protein shakes till you feel sick. I want it to be enjoyable. All right, next is don't eat foods that make you feel like garbage. Now, this is something that a lot of people are not even aware of, but I think it's very important, if you've never done this, to keep a food journal and see how different foods make you feel. Make a log of the foods that you've eaten and see how you feel within 30 minutes, an hour to 2 hours after you eat, all right? So not only do we want to be eating mostly real foods, but just because a food is touted as a superfood, or it's super healthy for you, or whatever, I also think you need to figure out what works best for you, because I see a lot of variability from person to person on this. And so you want to make sure that you're consuming foods that make you feel good. So what does that mean? You have mental clarity, you have energy, no inflammation, no joint pain, anything like that. Basically, you just feel amazing. When you eat the food, you actually feel better. Okay? And then we want to avoid foods that make us feel bloated, lethargic, maybe foggy, maybe, gassy, just kind of intestinal discomfort, okay? But also joint pain. Seriously, pay attention to this. This doesn't affect a lot of people, but a lot of you, you might eat a certain food. It could even be a fruit or a vegetable, and I'm not trying to scare you here, but it is something to consider. Think about how you feel. When you write it down in a food log and see how you feel, a lot of times you'll find that certain foods are actually causing more joint pain for you. And not just obviously your man-made super processed foods are going to be your biggest culprits here. However, a lot of times, foods that are touted as being super healthy, all right? Even fruits and vegetables for some people can cause, or certain fruits and vegetables for different people can cause these kinds of problems. So don't just assume you should avoid a food just because somebody says, and don't just assume that you should eat a food just because somebody says. See how it makes you feel. And when you find those foods that make you feel great, eat more of those. Let more of your calories come from those foods. And when you find foods that don't make you feel so great, eat fewer of those foods. All right, the last of the 5 principles is you got to enjoy your diet. All right, at the end of the day, figure out what you like. So under these principles, I've found for myself, I love steak. I splurge on steak. I just love the way that I eat because I consume a good amount of steak. I also eat a lot of fruit, specifically mangoes, both dried and frozen. I also love apples. I eat lots of those, okay? So lots of steak, lots of fruit. I found that's what makes me feel the best. It makes it easier for me to hit my calorie and protein targets, and I just love it, all right? There's a lot to be said for enjoying the way that you eat. Now, I also like to eat a little bit of ice cream almost daily. It's a great way for me to end the day, and that's kind of my processed food that I like to consume. And so you need to figure out what it is that you like, because if you enjoy your nutrition and it's following the other 4 principles and you enjoy it, you are going to absolutely crush your goals this year in 2023. But if you are trying to follow rules and guidelines and eat foods that you don't like, good luck. Good luck, because you're going to need it. And I don't think you're going to be successful, or I think your odds of being successful are not great. So work with your body, follow these principles. If you follow these principles, from there, stay within the rails, and then figure out, what do you want to do? What do you enjoy? What do you like? If you do that, Follow these 5 nutrition principles. Strength train a few days a week at a moderate effort, and then just be active. Walk, do exercise classes, go for a bike, swim, jog, whatever it is you enjoy. Do those 3 things, and you will see better results in 2023 than you've seen in the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Try it.